Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be working on my January 2021 setup. My theme this month is very Scandinavian inspired with these housing doodles. I kept them very minimal, and my color palette, as you will see, is very neutral and minimal as well. But these houses are really easy. I think I just kind of searched house doodle on Pinterest, and there were a plethora of examples to gain inspiration from. But throughout my spread this month, I just feature various houses, which I just practiced about 12 different variations, all very simple, and using these pink, green, and tan colors just varied throughout the month just to kind of change things up a bit. But it's not hard to draw these, they're really easy, and I just like how they look. As I finish my title page, which is very minimal as well, very Scandinavian. I have some washi tapes that match, of course, can't go without washi tapes in my journal this year. But also keeping with the grid theme that I used in my setup, if you watched that video. This also kind of plays a part in my theme this month. Before moving on, I had to add another quote page to this spread. It's "Home is where one starts from" by T.S. Eliot. I thought it just fit kind of perfectly, being home themed, and of course this is the first month of the year, so this is where I'm really starting my journal from, other than my yearly setup. But I again just kind of incorporated those washi tapes. This is my full calendar layout, one of the spreads that I'll continue with moving forward. You'll see as we move on that I really changed up my spreads for this month as opposed to some of the ones that I incorporated into my bullet journal last year. This one I feel kind of needs to be one that sticks with me throughout the year, as I can kind of track events, and as things start to somewhat get back to normal, I find that I might be filling this out more. Again, I didn't use up all of the space in the B5 because I'm still really conscious of having a lot of white space in my journal. But as you can see, just sticking with the neutral colors, this tan color that I use to highlight the days of the month. All my pens are Tombow dual brush pens. They are linked below. Had to use a drop shadow, which is very Amanda Rach Lee inspired, and then off to the side I just kind of have a to-do list just to track those, because I don't really have a spot anywhere else in this setup to-do list, so I thought I would just keep it on this page. And then again, adding just a couple more house doodles at the bottom. But my calendar is 6x6 spaces for anyone who wants to know. So these next two pages are replacing my mood and habit trackers. I found last year that I was mostly just doing it because I had them, not because I wanted to or because they provided any value to me. So I made the decision to leave those out for 2021 and instead doing two things that I really enjoyed doing, which was kind of creating mood boards or inspiration boards. Even though I didn't showcase any, I always had some either on my phone in a photo album or just on a Pinterest board, but kind of now doing that in my bullet journal. I had seen these before and I really liked them. So I think going forward I will incorporate these more instead of the trackers, And as you can see, these are just images, all from Instagram, and of course linked below where I got them from. But these are kind of the inspiration of my theme this month, and it includes just a couple images from some photographers and just for some content creators. And then of course the bullet journal inspiration came from Leela Journals. She has a very clean, minimal look to her journal that I just love. So if you have a chance, be sure to check her out. And then, of course, my playlist for January are just some songs I've been listening to, which are also linked below in a Spotify playlist. A lot of these songs, none of them are really new chart toppers. They're just songs that I have on repeat, and so I thought I would share those. They include some of my favorites: Crooked Elements by Kelly Kane, Swing Platter by Dusty Dex, Shoes Off by Gustav, Let's Love by David Guetta featuring Sia, Spa by Iconopop, and one of my faves, Artemis by Lindsey Sterling. These next two spreads are also new to my bullet journal this year. They include kind of a self-reflection spread. My book club are starting the year off with a self-discovery journal called True You by Dr. Kelly Vincent. And I thought that each month I can focus on one of the prompts that are in the book, and starting off this year will be self-awareness, but some of the other prompts include career and finances, relationships, self-care, mental health, a lot of things that are basically meant to help you just kind of do some self-discovery, some self-reflection. So I think each month I'll choose a prompt and feature it in my bullet journal. The other new spread that I'm doing is kind of a mini reading journal. I had been contemplating doing a full journal dedicated to the books I read, but I thought I'd start small before I take on that type of commitment. But this month I have really 3 books that I am reading, and that is the first book in the Witcher series, and the newest book by Ruby Kaur, Homebody, and then of course one of my guilty pleasures, The Queen's Bargain by Anne Bishop. Moving on, another spread that I started doing this year are these planning spreads for the next month. I did a January planning spread in my 2021 setup, and this month I will do one for February. This just lets me plan out the next month and have some space to see what I want my layouts to look like, what my theme will be, what colors I want to use, and any materials I might need. I just like how this looks because it gives me a mini version of what my next month will look like, and it just helps me be more efficient when creating my next spread rather than kind of figuring out what I want to do on the go. Now we have arrived at my first weekly spread of the month. I decided to keep this to 1 page just because we're still at the beginning of the year. I still don't have too much going on right now, so I didn't need to utilize the full space of the B5, and I think even with this size notebook, having a weekly spread on 1 page provides me with more than enough room to jot down anything that I might have going on. And because I want to try and do a little bit more writing and self-reflecting this month, I used the other page as just kind of a space where I can just jot down some thoughts or some notes or anything like that. Again, utilizing just the white space rather than filling it up completely with spreads that I either won't fill out or won't use. That was something that I didn't enjoy seeing when I was doing my 2020 flip through, just all of these spreads that I spent time working on or used pages to create that didn't even get used. So I want to make sure that I'm more conscious this year with the spreads that I create. so that when I do my 2021 flip through, I notice that the pages are filled in and that I created something that benefited me rather than just was either out of habit or because I wanted to fill up a page. I don't know if anyone watching has had that experience in their bullet journals, but I hope I could either give some inspiration or just some validation that you don't have to do every spread that you create or that you think you need. Do what works best for you. Before we go through my January 2021 flip through, I just want to remind you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you never miss any of my upcoming videos. But here is my January 2021 setup. Thank you all again for joining me this month. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.